which are the legal sunnah, those sunnah that have legal implications, in and of itself, while it's the basis of Sharia, the threat doctrine, in and of itself, it's somewhat meaningless. In the same way that in the Torah or the New Testament, there is the lex talionis, an eye for an eye. It literally says that. But what comes on top of that is everything. Sharia is scripture and it is hadith. But what it really is millennia of usul al-fiqh, the science of Islamic jurisprudence, fiqh. That doctrine tells the devout Muslim what abrogation is. It tells the devout Muslim how to read any particular surah. The problem that Zuhdi has, and I'm a great admirer of Zuhdi's, and we have all kind of gone back and forth on that. But the problem he does have is if you're going to ask any moderate or academic Muslim who wants to read those verses differently than they have been over 1,000 years, he has to figure out a way to, as it were, replace the ulama, the legal authorities. It would be like me saying, I want to interpret the Commerce Clause as it literally says, which is not how it's interpreted. The only way I could...
لا تدعم الإرهاب فكرا وتمويلا.
One of the elements that we are visiting with them about, and they have already taken steps, the Saudis.
أحد العناصر التي ناقشناها وقد اتخذوا خطوات بشأنها أعني السعوديين هو أن ينشروا كتبا تعليمية جديدة في المدارس والمساجد حول العالم تحل محل الكتب القديمة تلك التي تروج للفكر الوهابي المتطرف المبرر للعنف، وقد طالبناهم بتسليمنا الكتب القديمة.
Retrieve the existing textbooks so we get those back.
A new report from Impact SE has found that Saudi Arabia has removed anti-Semitic content from its school textbooks.
Impact SE has been reviewing the Saudi curriculum since 2008. In 2019, a real absolute revolution happened in Saudi education. We were able to present our 2019 report and policy recommendations to the Saudis. Mohammed bin Salman took up the burden of making significant changes to the textbooks, to the education in Saudi schools, and have been removed. Negative portrayals of Jews, and with that is out material which was negative about infidels, about polytheists as well. But it is really incredibly significant, incredibly important. Looking at 6 million children in Saudi Arabian schools, imagine that they are, I can tell you, for example, that a whole chapter which was highly critical of Israel in social studies, has just recently been taken out. So,
encouraging Saudi Arabia to remove incitement from its government-published textbooks for its public education system is not just the right thing to do. It's also a national security issue. Fighting terrorists militarily can only achieve so much if Saudi textbooks and other sources of incitement continue to provide fertile intellectual ground for violent extremism. This past May, I published a long list of intolerant statements in Saudi textbooks from the most current school year, which I will draw from extensively here. I have included all of these passages in their original Arabic as an appendix to my written testimony. I found that Saudi textbooks still recommend killing people for many acts that U.S. law would characterize as personal choices. That included adultery, sex, converting from Islam. That included adultery, sex, converting from Islam. That included adultery, sex, converting from Islam, or purported acts of sorcery. The textbooks are also rife with anti-Christian and particularly anti-Semitic incitement, often framed as anti-Zionism. One book called Christianity, an Invalid, Perverted Religion. Another accused Zionism of plotting a global Jewish government, and a third called Zionism an octopus that it accused, falsely, of trying to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the entire Islamic creed. A fourth book taught that befriending infidels is forbidden, citing a Quranic verse that says not to take Christians or Jews as allies.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض ومن يتولهم منكم فإنه منهم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين.
Citing a Quranic verse that says not to take Christians or Jews as allies. That textbook called such infidels enemies of Muslims and of God, and taught that Muslims must abhor them, quite literally teaching hatred. These are all examples from current textbooks used in the 2016 to 2017 Saudi school year.
כשאני אומרת לכם ירושלים, מה עובר לכם בראש? מה זה ירושלים? בית המקדש.
כותל. מה עוד?
מי מאמין שבית המקדש ייבנה בשנים הקרובות? מה יש שם עכשיו על בית המקדש? אז מה יקרה עם המסגד? יישבר? אם מכן פגש בשנה האחרונה ילד ערבי?
איפה פגשת ילד ערבי? ליד הכותל.
ודיברת איתו?
לא, הוא דחף אותי, אבל לא הלך.
ומה קורה כשאתם רואים ילד ערבי? מה אתם מרגישים?
קצת זעם.
זעם? מה קורה כשאתם פוגשים ילד חילוני? למה אתה מרחם עליו כשהוא נולד חרדי? מה הוא מפסיד?
הוא לא הולך לחרדים.
כשאתם חושבים על ירושלים בעוד 10 שנים. כולם חרדים?
לא כולם חרדים. ערבים חלק חרדים.
כולם יהודים, ויש גם ערבים שהם עבדים.
תהיה משיח, הבנתי, כן, מה אתה אומר?
שמלחמה כל הערבים ימותו, וחלק מהם יהיו עבדים.